Welcome to the new part of the book HYPERFOCUS, How to Work Less and Achieve More by Chris Bailey. The Rule of Three. You can probably skim this section if you are familiar with the material I have written in the past. If allow me to introduce the Rule of Three. At the start of each day, choose the three things you want to have accomplished by day's end. While a to-do list is useful to capture a minute by a day, these three intention slots should be reserved for your most important daily task. I have done this little ritual every morning for several years, ever since learning about it from Microsoft Director of Digital Transformation, JD Mayer. The rule of three is deceptive simple. By forcing yourself to pick these three main intentions at the start of each day, you accomplish several things. You choose what's important but also what's not important. The constraint of this rule push you to figure out what actually matters. The rule is also flexible within the constraint of your day. If your calendar is packed with meeting, those meeting commitment may dictate the scope of your three intentions, while an appointment free day means you can set intentions to accomplish more important and less urgent tasks. When you unexplained tasks and projects come your way, you can weigh those new responsibilities against the intentions you have already set because three ideas fit comfortably within your attentional space. You can recall and remember your original intentions with relatively easy. Make sure to keep your three intentions where you can see them. I keep mine on the giant whiteboard in my office, or if I am traveling, at the top of my daily to do list, which is synced between the device in which OneNote. If you are like me, you may also find it handy to set three weekly intentions as well as three daily personal intentions, such as disconnecting from work during the dinner, visiting the gym before heading home from the office, or gathering receipts for taxes. 2. Your most consequential task. A second intention setting ritual I follow is considering which item on my to-do list are the most consequential. If you have a habit of maintaining a to-do list, which I highly recommend and whose power I will discuss later in this book, take a second to consider the consequence of carrying out each task. The sum of both its short-term and long-term consequences. The most important tasks on your list are the one that leads your greatest positive consequence. What will be different in the world or in your work or in your life as a result of your spending time doing each of the item on your list? What task is equivalent on domino in the line of 100 that, once it topples over, initiate a chain reaction that lets you accomplish a great deal? Another way to look at this, when deciding what to do instead of considering just the immediate consequences of any activity, also consider a second and third order consequences. For example, let's say you are deciding whether to order the funnel cake for the dessert. The immediate consequence of decision is that you enjoy eating the cake. But the second and third order consequence are quite bit stepper. A second order consequence might be that you will feel terrible for the rest of the evening. Third order consequence might include gaining weight or breaking a new diet regime. This is a powerful idea to internalize, especially since most important tasks are often not the one that is immediately feel the most urgent or productive. Write a guide for the new hire may not, in the moment, feel as usual as answering a dozen email, but if that guide cut down on the time it takes to bring each new employee on board, makes feel her more welcome and also serves to make her more productive, it is easily the most consequential thing on your list. Other consequential tasks might include automating a task that is annoying and repetitive, disconnecting so you can focus on designing the workflow for an app you are building, or forming an office mentorship program that lets employees easily share their knowledge. If you have a lot of tasks on your to-do list, ask yourself which are the most consequential. This exercise works well in the tandem with four types of tasks in your work. Once you have separated them into four quadrants of necessary, purposeful, distracting, and unnecessary, ask yourself out of the necessary and purposeful tasks which have a potential to set off a chain reaction. How to set stronger intention. Over the last few decades, Peter Gualiter has been one of the most renowned contributors to the field of intention. He is perhaps the best known for his groundbreaking research on the importance of not only setting intentions but also making them very specific. While we often achieve our vague intentions, specific intentions greatly increase our odds of overall success. Let's say, for example, you rush to set your personal intentions this morning and come up with this list. 1. Go to the gym. 2. Quit working with get home. 3. Get to bed by a reasonable time. I have deliberately made these intentions vague, but how can we make them more specific and likely to stick? First, it's worth considering how effective these intentions are as I have formulated them. They will certainly prove to be more effective than doing nothing. In fact, Gualzer research recovered that even vague intentions like these boost your odds of successful carrying them out around 20% to 30%. So, if you are lucky, you might across another one or two of the list. Not bad. Setting more specific intentions, however, does something remarkable. It makes our odds of success much higher. In one study, Gualzer and his research colleague Vernioka asked participants to set an intention to complete a difficult role of Christian break, such as completing term paper, finding a new apartment, or setting a conflict with their significant other. Some students set a vague intentions while others set with Gualzer call and implementation intention. As he explained the term, make a very detailed plan on how you want to achieve what you want to achieve. What I am arguing in my research is that goal needs plan. Ideally, plan that include when, where, which kind of action to move toward the goal. In other words, if a student vague goal was to find an apartment during the Christmas break, his implementation intention could be I will hunt for the apartment on the Craigs and email 3 apartment landlords in the week leading up to Christmas. A remarkable 62% of the students who set a specific implementation intention followed through this goal. The group that did not set an implementation intention fared a lot more poorly, following through their own original intention a third as often, partly 22% of the time. This effect, which subsequent studies validated further, was positively suggested. Setting specific intention can double or triple your odds of success. With that in mind, let's quickly turn my 3 vague intentions into implementation intention. Go to the gym, become schedule and go to the gym on my lunch break. Second, quit working when I get home is reframed as put my work phone on earphone mode and my work laptop in another room and stay disconnected for the evening. 3. Get to the bed by responsible time. Become set a bedtime alarm for 10 pm and when it goes off, start winding down. Implementation intentions are powerful in much the same way as a habit. When you begin a habit, your brain carries out the rest of the sequence largely on the autopilot. Once you have a game plan for the implementation intention, when you encounter the environmental cue to initiate, your lunch break rolls out, you get home after a stressful day at work, or your bedtime alarm goes off, you subsequently get the ball rolling to accomplish your goal. Your intention takes almost no effort to initiate. As Gualzer and Brandster put it, action initiation becomes swift, efficient, and does not require consequence intention. In other words, you begin to act toward our original goal automatically. Wilder told me that intentions do not necessarily have to be precise if they are specific enough for a person to understand and identify the situation cues. We did studies with the tennis player and they made plan on how they want to respond with the problem that might come up in the game. Some of the tennis players were specifying when I get irritated or when I get nervous. That is not very specific or concrete, but it works brilliantly because they knew what they meant with nervous. Specific means the person can identify the critical situation. There are two notable caveats to setting specific intention. First, you have to actually care about your intention. Implementation intention do not work nearly as well for goals that don't especially matter to you or that you have gone abandoned. If you had a goal in 1990s to amass the world's largest collection of Furby, and you will probably be a lot less motivated to achieve that goal today. Second, easy to accomplish intention do not have to be specific. Deciding in advance when you will work on task is significantly more important for a difficult one than when your intention is to do something simple. If it is weekend and your intention is to go to the gym at least once, you do not need to be as definite about when you will to do so. If you are trying to accomplish something more challenging, though, like saying not to dessert at the restaurant on Saturday, setting a more specific intention is essential. That vague intention can become more specific by planning. When you see a dessert menu, to politely decline and treat yourself to the chef coffee instead. This caveat work well for the intention at home, but when Monday rolls around, you may need to gain set more thoughtful intention. When a goal are tough or when you have so many goals and it's hard to attain them all, that is when planning work particularly well. Starting a hyper-focus ritual. The next chapter focus on taming the external and internal distraction that is invariably derail the hyper-focus. However, before discussing these, I want to offer a few simple strategies to begin hyper-focusing on your intention. This will become infinitely more powerful as you learn to tame the distraction in your work in advance. Let's, let's first cover how to focus and then when. 1. Start by filling out how long you want to hyperfocus. 2. Anticipate obstacle ahead of time. 3. Set a timer. 4. Hyperfocus. That covers the how. Here are the few suggestions that I have found work for deciding when you should hyperfocus. 1. Whenever you can. 2. Around the constraint of your work. 3. When you need to work on a complex task. 4. Based on how averse you can to what you intend to accomplish. Thank you.